Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that we link with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. World Cup's over, finished, done. It's all about Arsenal. It's all about getting down to business and preparation for the new season for Unai Emery. Of course, upcoming trips to Singapore, where they're going to be playing out there. They're going to be playing, of course, in Ireland and also in Sweden, and getting himself in gear for that first big test, Man City at home, the first game of the season, followed by Chelsea away. Couldn't get a harder start. Unai Emery trying to get everything in place, get everything in gear for that first game. Looks to have brought in the players that he really wanted. So he said himself that he's filled the positions that he feels needed filling. And he's on the lookout for one more big name if that name should emerge. If not, then he'll be satisfied with what he got. But who's going? Who's going to be on the way out? That's the next question, because, Arsenal have brought in players, but certainly they're going to be looking to offload a few of the players that they have that are kind of surplus to requirements. The biggest of all of those is Danny Welbeck. Now, lots of rumours flying around today that Danny Welbeck could be a player that could be surplus to requirements. He only started 12 games last season. He came off the bench 16 times, so was really used as a kind of impact player. And the other thing that's kind of affected Danny Welbeck in his period of being at Arsenal, remember he's been at Arsenal since 2014, when we paid £16 million for him. The other thing that's really kind of affected him is injuries. He's had a lot of injuries since he's been at Arsenal. Surprise, surprise. Just like everybody else we've had over the past few years. And has just not been able to establish a regular position in that Arsenal team. But he has been used as a sort of a utility player. Sometimes you can play him out wide. You can play him down the middle as a striker, even though we know he's not a clinical striker. But a handy player to have in your team. However, 1 year left on his contract. So Arsenal got to make a decision. Do we sign him and give him a new contract, which means possibly giving him more wages, a longer contract? Or do we just cash in on him now and get somebody else if we possibly can, or keep that money in the coffers? And Danny Welbeck's one of the few sort of players that Arsenal might want to offload, that they probably get a decent amount of money for. We paid £16 million for him. We're not going to get that. But probably, you'd be looking at least about 10... Could we go up to 15 million for Danny Welbeck? I don't know, but 10 to 15 million for Danny Welbeck. The thing is, should we sell Danny Welbeck or should we keep him? Because as I said, he can also be a very useful player that can play in various positions, including out wide. He's a hard-working guy, so you can put him on, he'll do the work down the flanks, the tracking back and that, and he can prop up with very important goals. We've seen that many a times down the past. I really want to put this to a poll today. Keep or sell Danny Welbeck? What should we do with him? As I said, 1 year left, so decisions definitely going to be made this summer. But lots of the rumours flying around today is that he will be one of those players that will be going. David Ospina as well, another player who's got a bit of value to him. For me, he looks a dead cert to be leaving the club this summer. Again, probably get about 10... no more than 15 million for him, probably around about the 10 million pound mark. Fenerbahce interested, Boca Juniors over there in Argentina interested in him as well. But it certainly looks like, again, he's going to be another player that Arsenal are going to be looking to cash in on this summer and get a little bit of money back. I think Czech will become the number 2 and Bernd Leno the number 1. And then remember, there's a load of goalkeepers at Emilio Martinez is still there, Matt Macy, so lots of backup goalkeepers. But Bernd Leno, certainly, for the money that Arsenal paid for him, looks to be the guy who's going to come in as a number 1. Then there's Lucas Perez. We saw him playing last week. Again, surely it's going to be a player that Arsenal are going to cash in on, although there were a lot of rumours going around the other day that, he's really liked by Unai Emery, and Unai Emery may decide to keep him. There's also Carl Jenkinson, who played the other day. Carl Jenkinson, of course, been out a long time with injury. Still a fairly young player. Arsenal looks like he plays on the right. They've brought Lichtsteiner in. They've got Bellerin. Be very surprised if they keep Carl Jenkinson. And then there's guys like Chuba Akpom, again, just been on the periphery for such a long time. Surely him himself might be thinking to himself, time to move on, time to try and find a career elsewhere rather than just being sort of in and out, out on loan, back, forth. So there's Chuba Akpom. And then finally, Joel Campbell. Surely, again, Joel Campbell, who's on loan last year at Betis, surely he'll be on his way out. Again, he's been on loan so many. He's had more loans than a Blockbuster Video when they were still going, He's always seems to be out on loan. And surely, again, a player that will want to just cement his career somewhere. And they won't get a big fee for him, but they'll get some money in. So I think there's going to be a bit of a clear out over the, coming sort of month or so as we lead up to that first game. I definitely think Arsenal are going to be looking to offload some of those players, but who that will be, we'll have to wait and see. Now, Max Meyer has been linked with a move to Arsenal again today. Max Meyer has been linked since the start of the window, but what the sticking point is that he's asking for a massive signing on fee, a massive wages of around about £4 million. Now, remember, Max Meyer is a free agent. That means his contract has finished at Schalke. He can move to wherever he wants. It's his decision where he goes to. But him, or should I say probably his agents, are demanding a massive, massive wage amount for him, which a lot of clubs at the moment, even though he's a bright talent out of Germany, seem to be unwilling to pay. Now, Arsenal seem to be suggesting at the moment that, listen, they'll be willing to take another look at Max Meyer, but he has to lower his wage demands. So if he lowers his wage demands, they may be interested, but at the moment, the wages he's demanding, Arsenal not willing to go in, but if he drops those wages, they may consider a move for Max Meyer. And another free transfer that we've spoken about before on the show is Bernard from Shakhtar Donetsk. As I said, I remember years ago, we were heavily linked with this guy, heavily linked to pay a lot of money for him, for the Brazilian. It never happened. He went to Shakhtar. And now he's being linked again with a move to Arsenal. He's available on a free transfer, so it wouldn't cost any money. And we know Arsenal always like a bit of that, a bit of freeness. But being linked to two clubs in particular, and that's Arsenal and also Everton. And the thing about Bernard is that he's a player that can play out wide. That is what Arsenal, again, seem to need at the moment, a wide player. And maybe Bernard could be that person who could come in and do a job out wide. So let's wait and see what happens with that one. He's not that super special player that they've been talking about, but maybe perhaps Bernard. I don't know. I'm not sure about that link, but being linked again heavily today. Those links coming out of Italy, where they're saying that Arsenal very interested in signing Bernard on a free. Let's get into some of your comments. Mad Gooner says we should sell Ozil. He's the only luxury which we can't afford. Instead, use the money for some real big player. Now, we've just given him a new contract, £350,000 a week reportedly. I can't see any other club that would match that wages at the moment, the way in which he performed in the World Cup. And so I think, we're going to stuck with Ozil is too harsh to say, but we're going to have Ozil. Now, the trick of this now is for Unai Emery. This is his big task, I think. One of his real big tasks is to get the best out of Mesut Ozil. If we can get the best out of this guy, we've got an amazing player. Somebody, I'm hoping that Unai Emery is that somebody who comes in and really kicks this guy at the backside and gets him playing every week to the ability that we know he has. So I don't think Ozil's going to be going anywhere fast. Adrian C says, you're making these videos purely for the money now. Everyone, including AFTV, know that there'll be no more signings. How do you know that? You work for the boards? You listen. Unai Emery said, these were his words, that he's happy with the business he's done so far, but maybe if another name comes along, something they can't refuse, something that's just too good to not think, they'll move for it. That's what Unai Emery said, right? We don't know if they won't make any more signings. And the rumours continue. As I said today, players moving out, players getting linked with us every day. That's what we're here for on Transfer Daily, to keep you informed on that. I remember, listen, all the time you get this. I remember when I was saying in January about Aubameyang, people were saying, Robbie, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? Aubameyang will never come to Arsenal. Don't you read what's going on? Who's he play for now? Move on. Right, next one. Jay Hunter says, why didn't we go for Justin Kluivert, son of the great Kluivert, of course, from Ajax? Wasn't expensive, and we missed out on a guaranteed future star. He's a very good player from what I've seen. Not as good as his dad, Patrick, but then you'd have to go some way to be as good as him. But it does look a talent. Yeah, we missed out on him. And he says, although after the World Cup, my head is turned to Perez. Would be great to take him in front of the Manchester United fans. It would be very difficult to get Perez, especially after the World Cup he just had. United tried to get him, as he said, last year from Inter Milan. I just can't see them selling him. He's such a good player. Des says, Arsenal should look into players like Wilfried Zaha, Julian Draxler, Insigne or Guedes to help with the pace on the wings. Could also go for another midfielder if Ramsey was not to sign a contract. Options are Rafinha, Kovacic, or even Di Maria playing in the central role. So many options to pursue. I know Emery isn't planning to sign any more players, but we could do with more force. The players, there's two players that you mentioned there that I think, would be gettable and would be good for us. So Wilfried Zaha. I'm a big fan of Wilfried Zaha. I get panned every time I'm saying it, but I like him. I think he'd be brilliant at Arsenal. And Julian Draxler, I'm sure Draxler, how is he, unless PSG sell Neymar to Real Madrid, which you never know, that's a possibility, surely Draxler's not going to get the game time that he wants. Draxler playing out on that left-hand side would be a dream for me at Arsenal. Draxler, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, it's mouth-watering. However, be a lot of money to do. And again, these are these sort of ones where maybe if things just fell into place and the circumstance arose where we could possibly go for somebody, maybe, but dreams at the moment. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV, and we'll be back tomorrow.